You know how I feel about the Gaza Strip. I think it's an incredible piece of important real estate. And I think it's something that we would be involved in, but, having a peace force like the United States there, controlling and owning the Gaza Strip would be a good thing. If you take the people, the Palestinians, and move them around to different countries, and you have plenty of countries that will do that, and you really have a freedom zone. You call it the freedom zone, a free zone, a zone where people aren't going to be killed every day. That's a hell of a place.
Yeah, hell of a place. And again, these arguments, like everything he stresses about how terrible the conditions there were as a justification to make it worse, to take insult and add it on to injury. Injury, of course, being the vicious intentional murder of tens of thousands of civilians, but now also to steal their land, to banish them to some foreign, I don't know, slums or whatever, never to return again. And so the entire thing is so disgusting. It's one of there's a limited list of things where I just hope we get through this time without taking those steps, but it's feeling increasingly inevitable that they're going to make this happen. Yaz, what do you think?
Well, I don't know if you know this, John, but the Civil War was fought over states' rights. So here in the South, that is still a very common refrain that we hear. So as far as alternative truths and alternative facts and alternative perspectives, that is something that at least here in the South, we're already very familiar with. And Trump calling the United States a peace force is, I want to say it's unbelievable, but maybe I shouldn't say that, because I think a lot of Americans still really think of the American military as peacekeepers, and to an extent, maybe, but never forget that the US military does not ever get involved anywhere in any conflict unless they have an interest in doing so, unless the United States government has some kind of political incentive to get involved or a financial incentive to get involved, right? There is never a situation where the American military says, you know what, we need to help these people because they need help. And then we send our troops over there. That's not how it works. And I think anyone who thinks that is naive. And I don't blame them for wanting to believe something like that, because you want to believe that you're the good guys. You want to believe that you're on the side that is going to help people, right? But the fact of the matter is that the US military is very destructive, even when it's not trying to be, right? If it's not destructive, it's at least disruptive, right? We have military bases all over the world already in countries where they don't even want us there. There have been several instances around the world where we said, you know what, we're not going to build a military base here. And then we just did. And then they got mad at us. And then we have to wonder, oh, why are they mad at us? Because the American people, we don't know what's going on, right? Whenever 9/11 happened and they attacked us, how many Americans were like, why did they attack us? What did we do to them? They had no idea what the US military was already doing in those countries and in that region, right? Legitimately, we had no clue. I don't know how old the people are who are watching this, but if you were there, it was like people were very confused, had no idea. And the line that we kept hearing is, oh, they don't like us because they hate our freedom. That was a line that we heard from our American president, George W. Bush at the time. And people believed it because we didn't have a reason not to believe it, right? So anytime the United States is doing something militarily overseas, you want to call it a peacekeeping mission, then fine. Maybe there is an argument there. Maybe you can say that about certain situations, but Trump is not wanting to do that. If he wanted peace in the Middle East, if he wanted peace in Gaza, he could stop funding the Israeli military, right? He could stop enabling the Israeli military and stop hosting somebody like Benjamin Netanyahu in the White House. There are ways to keep peace, and the ways that Donald Trump is proposing right now, it's not going to happen. And that is not his intention.